Now, some people have been asking me what I think about the Queen and the British Empire. Truth be told, I don't have beef with them. It was an empire. What else was an empire supposed to do? Like, that's what empires do. Like, Britain was not the only empire in Europe at that time. Like, Germany and France did the same shit. Germany colonized some African countries like Tanzania and Namibia. When they lost the First World War, Britain and France just took over their shit. Just like how any victor always do throughout time. Let's not forget Spain and Portugal were all in that action too. So Europe was kind of like the last people to play that video game. So with that, I just can't single out one empire. I know somebody's gonna bring up slavery in the comment section. And yeah, they did take part in slavery. Like everyone in that time and before that time did. But the British Empire is the first empire of all empires to abolish slavery. No empire before that did that, and guess what? Our African ancestors, Kingdom of Oyo to be exact, with their main income was slavery. Do you know what they did? They called Spain and Portugal and were like, hey yo, it's your homeboy, the Dahomey tribe. We got a collection of good slaves on sale, stranger. And them Spain were like, are you guys sure? I mean, you guys just killed 800 of your slaves in honor of your king, King Jesu, the great slave king. The Dahomey tribes are like, shit, we got plenty of where that came from. Don't worry, we got endless supplies of slaves. So it's kind of funny to have beef with people that bought slaves, but a free pass for your ancestors that enslaved your people and sold them. And now the queen, well, she inherited a throne that's even older than her grandfather. So you can't really blame her for some shit. And what do you even want her to do? Like, what, you think a new sultan of Sokoto can come and abolish everything? Not possible. Now, for me to be able to judge her, I have to be able to compare her to someone else that I can say, yeah, that person is better, and yeah, she's a very horrible person. For example, if someone comes out and says the PS2 was a horrible console, I would ask, and the original Xbox was what? So let's go. We can't compare her with her dad because I don't think anybody got independence under him, but many got under her. Okay, maybe that's not fair comparing her to her father. Alright, let's talk about empires or people that were ruling at the time she started ruling. Did anybody forget about Emperor Hirohito, the Emperor of Japan? The Emperor of Japan during, before and after World War II. In fact, when you really look at it, they kick-started World War II when they invaded Manchuria in 1931. And when their Prime Minister came to the League of Nations and when everybody was condemning him, what did he do? He was like, you guys trying to tell me something? You can't tell me nothing, and walked out. And what they did in the capital of China at that time, like King, it was like a 6 weeks of orgy of art and murder. Even the Nazis had to call them and tell them to calm down. They marched all over the Philippines and Korea, and they started in Australia. Even after all of that, he was still ruling till 1989. You could go to Asia and you would probably find some people that could give you graphic story of what they did to them because they lived through it. Does anybody want to talk about Baba Stalin? He didn't give anybody independence, I can tell you that. Let's not talk about the death that the Soviet Union has caused directly by him. And we're not even going to start talking about the murders he's done. The Soviet Union was not nice. Look at Russia and Ukraine. That is product of the Soviet Union. Who was the president of America at that time? Harry Truman. The guy that dropped not one but 2 atomic bombs on Japan. I'm not going to talk about whether it was justified at 1945. But yeah, that was kind of the man in power at that time. And if you're going to say no, it was Dwight Eisenhower that was president at that time, he is definitely responsible for Berlin having a wall to divide it. And the other side belonged to the Soviet Union. Because when he was the supreme commander of the Allies during World War II, Churchill was telling him that Stalin is just doing land grabbing and it's going to become a problem for all of us in the future. He didn't listen. He let the Soviets take Berlin, and they did. To some point, he has a hand in the Cold War. And let's not forget Mao Zedong. That is a subject topic on how not to kill your people. And still not figure maybe that might not be the answer. In Africa, there's a guy that's been ruling his country for like 40 years. Go look at his country and come back and tell me he has done a fantastic job. She got into power at age 25. Of course, she's going to make a lot of mistakes. Just think or remember yourself at age 25. There's no such thing like this, but imagine at age 25 you became the king or queen of the whole of Africa. You don't think you F up a lot? Alright, you're the king now. Tell me what you think about Mauritius. That's right, there's a country in Africa named Mauritius. How in God's name will you know what's going on there? Is it not whoever is in charge of that place to come and tell you? Yeah, there are some rebels that are trying to misbehave, but don't worry. We got this. And since he's your point man in that place, you believe him. Heavens, most Nigerians don't even have a clue of what led up to our civil war. Is it some other person with too much power will know? Each and every one of us with that much power, we will not do better. We will F up, maybe even more than her. Because that is too much power for one person to have and not F up. Solomon, the wisest man in the world, messed up at some point. And somehow you think you will not? And if you really want to talk about the royal family, I know no royal family in Nigeria will allow their prince to marry a divorcee. That's not gonna happen. Now, after what Meghan have said and done, no royal family for Naija go allow her to even smell that burial. In fact, they may not even allow Henry make show. And if they allow Henry, they go tell Henry, if your wife come to this place, we go mend her. And I shit you not, if she shows, somebody go mend her, maybe cousins or uncle or aunties, it go happen. Look, I am not giving the queen a free pass. I'm saying she's a product of her time. Her personally did not have any scandal, so that's kind of good. She did what she can. Nothing more, nothing less. Like I said, that is too much power for one not to mess up. But in the end, I'll respect them for still keeping their culture and tradition.